So my presentation is on Hamming code. So
your voice is so low, means we are unable to listen at all.
hello.
Now it is fine.
Now it's clear, right? Okay. So Hamming code. The introduction is like this. Hamming codes are family of linear error correcting codes. So it can, as Aditi answered, it can detect up to 2-bit errors or correct a 1-bit error without detection of uncorrected errors. So this is just an introduction. We know that it is named after Richard Hamming, who invented it in 1950 for this purpose while he introduced punched card readers. Okay, so what is the general definition? So when we define the Hamming code, so for that we choose some R. This is the redundancy. Okay, and it is greater than equal to 2. For that we have a length n is equal to q power r minus 1 upon q minus 1. The Hamming code is now been stated by me in this presentation as ham, which is a function of r and q, where q is likely the number of elements in the symbolical field which we are going to consider, and r is nothing what I mentioned, redundancy. So ham r comma q as defined above, it's a linear code in fq power n for which the columns of r cross n is a parity check matrix, and these are n distinct non-zero vectors of fq power r, which first non-zero entry is equal to 1. So explaining this nicely, so the definition which I'm going to restrict now is for q is equal to 2. So for q is equal to 2, we have the field values, the set has value 0 comma 1. So for that, this code is known as binary Hamming code. Asserting to the definition, now again r is greater than equal to 2. The n what we get is 2 power r minus 1, and the dimension, that is the message length we need to send, is 2 power r minus 1. Now we will try to find the rate of the binary Hamming code. So the rate of any code is given by the formula log q, the number of elements in the code C, divided by the length of the code n. So substituting that it is a linear code, we can get the number of elements as q power k, and hence we proceed and we get the rate as k by n for the linear codes. And for binary Hamming code, it is the highest possible rate, which is 1 minus r divided by 2 power r minus 1. So this is the calculation for the rate, as this Hamming code is defined for having the highest possible rate with the minimum distance of 3. Now, what do we know about parity check matrix of
So
Hamming
1
codes?
minute, Rohan. Yeah. Rohan, let them observe that earlier statement, that which is the highest part. Can you go a little below? Yeah. So which is the highest possible rate for the code with minimum distance 3 and block length is 2 power r minus 1. So what is the maximum possible rate one can have in general for a linear code? Forget about distance and all. What is the maximum possible rate I can get? Okay, rate is lies in between where and where? At least can you say that part? Rate belongs to where? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, not you, Dhruva. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm asking that what are the possible, so let's suppose fq power n. Okay, I'm looking linear codes of length n. Okay, what is the minimum code? What is the minimum rate and what is the maximum rate I can have? What are the different possible rates?
So
What?
is it 1 by n?
Yes, okay. Yeah,
Minimum.
minimum is 1 by n. Is it 0 is possible?
If I
Take the code only 0 code, right?
Yes.
0 code word is 0. We have a 0 subspace. So k, what is k actually? K is the dimension of the code, right? Right? K is the dimension of the code. Dimension is actually what is mean by dimension? It is a subspace.
Yes, if it is 0, k is 0, then it will be 0.
0, right? So that is possible. So we have, that is also non-empty. Every code, every linear code is a subspace. Subspaces are at least contains at least one code word. They are all non-empty. Every subspace is a non-empty subset because every subspace is a vector space. It has to contain the 0 vector, right? Because of that, so 0 vector is always be there. So that we can have also have only that, but that is not at all useful. That's a different issue. But it is not at all useful. But for that, rate of the code is 0. What is the maximum rate one can have?
1.
1. So who told 1? Karnika?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Why it is 1? You are correct. Your answer is correct. Why it is 1?
So k maximum value can be n.
Okay, very good. Yeah. So for example, I take all the code words, all the things, right? So my G is in that case. What about the G? Generator matrix. Identity matrix. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm repeating the same questions again and again, but you need to ask yourself these things. Okay. So now distance is equal to 3. When I'm telling that minimum distance of the code is 3, minimum distance is 3, can it be possible that rate can be 1? No, right? You understand that why it cannot be 1. So, but Hamming code is that highest possible rate with that distance of the 3 equal to 3. So it is, you can see that, so that is the beauty of this. So try to look at that why it is true also. Do not accept anything. Frankly telling, I also not checked. So I also look into that, but you also try it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Now Dhruv, go ahead.
As stated by Sir, I'm forwarding for the parity check matrix. So the definition lies here that the parity check matrix of Hamming code, Ham R, 2, that is for binary Hamming code, is constructed by listing, I have written my own words, is constructed by listing all the columns of length R binary code words that are non-zero. So for example, let us take, okay, there is a mistake. So let us take R
is equal to 2.
Yeah. So
okay.
let
Yeah,
us
that's
take
okay.
R is equal to 2. So let us take R is equal to 2. Then the list of the non-zero binary code words of the length 2 is given by 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. Hence, the parity matrix definition.
So I want to ask one question to you, Dhruv. Hello, Dhruv.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
So how you are able to do on the spot corrections?
Sir, this is a markdown.
Markdown. Okay. It is you are doing in the markdown. Okay. Fine.
Yeah, sir.
So beautiful, right? You are actually using the Jupyter notebook, it seems.
Yeah, sir.
Very good. So all of you know, but so he is actually giving an explanation that how one can utilize this for teaching purpose. So it is nice to see. Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, the parity check matrix is given by 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1. Now, whatever I have written here, it is it can be stated as 1, 2, and 3 if we are considering the binary decimal conversion of this binary numbers. Okay. Now, if we try to write it in the form of standard or the systematic form, then it would be like this, because it is the parity check is of the form A augmented with I, where I is in K cross K matrix. Okay. So now, can you guess the code word for the above parity check matrix? So if anyone would like to answer, so what would be the code word for the
No,
above
no.
parity check?
So it is not code word. You are asking for the code, right?
Yeah, sir. Actually, yeah, the code.
So code word is actually one word of that code. Code is entire C you are asking. Yeah. Yeah, they know, all of them know actually. Yeah. Please come up now fast. So by looking parity check matrix and identity, and the last column is 1 1, or first column 1 1. From that, you know that what is the code C, right?
Anyone can answer the order of the
No,
order
they
of,
know, they know complete. Okay, just to give some few seconds, they will tell. Yeah. Please come up fast. What is the code? If this is the parity check matrix. So ask questions first. That's what he's telling, that order means according to him length of the code. What is the code word length? Okay, that is the first question, right? What is n value, right? He's asking n. You know the size of the parity check matrix. From that I can get n, I can get k, right? Yeah, somebody can tell about parity check matrix, whatever you know. Yeah, that is better. Whatever you know about parity check matrix, can you tell? Any one of you, no problem. Please cooperate us. Whatever you know about parity check matrix, bata dijiyega. Karnika, go ahead, please.
So the formula for the parity check matrix is H is equals to minus A transpose augmented with I. So
Okay.
here it is 1 comma 1. Oh, sorry, minus A transpose is 1 1. And since it's binary, then minus 1 and 1 are equal only. So we can from here we can check what is G, and I think the code would be 0 0 and 1 1.
1 1 1. Okay, that's okay. But I am asking. Thank you, Karnika. But can you tell in general what is the size of the parity check matrix in general, not for this example? What is the size? Just the size of the matrix.
So n minus k cross n, right?
N minus k cross n. Very good. Thank you. N minus k cross n. Right. So now n minus k cross n. And so what is n here then in this particular example? Right. It is 3. Right. So what is k? What is k?
1.
2.
1. Why 2? N minus k. H parity check matrix is n minus k cross n. है ना? Parity check matrix is n minus k cross n. This is n minus k, 2 cross 3. Right? So n minus k is 2. So k equal to 1. N equal to 3. So k equal to 1 means, what do you mean by k equal to 1? The dimension of the code is 1. So dimension of the code is 1 means one-dimensional subspace. How do you get one-dimensional subspace? You will get one-dimensional subspace by just taking any vector, its linear combinations. Which vector I have to take? One vector is sufficient now. Which vector I have to choose? I have to choose that vector that is orthogonal to all the column, all the rows of H. What is the vector which is perpendicular or orthogonal to both? So as Karnika told, 1 1 1. Why 1 1 1? It is because 1 1 1 if I multiply it to, so you can see that yeah, I hope you were clear. So she answered everything. So any questions till now? To ask Karnika that how she got, please interact at least so things will be clear.
So how did we got the code from that parity check matrix you told? It's like
Right.
first we check the n minus k, then we know from that we found that k is equal to 1. So we come to know that it's one dimension. After that, sir, what do you teach?
So there are different ways. One approach is that once you get one, in this particular case, it is easy. Once you get one, it is because now you need to know just one vector in its complement. Actually, you are finding the C perp, right? Assume this is C. This is C. C means this is, for example, H is also a generating matrix for some code. Original code is C. Then H is the generating matrix for the C perp. C perp is C. So you are actually finding the C, right? So that is actually all the vectors which are perpendicular to C perp. I hope, is it okay?
Okay. Yeah, sir. Now I got okay.
But another approach, simple approach, is that last time Shruti told. What is that she told is that, so from this construct the generating matrix. Yeah, so I think Dhruv will tell about that, or somebody else. Dhruv, not Dhruv actually, somebody else. Can somebody help me that how do you get the generating matrix from this? Karnika, you can go ahead.
So generating matrix is I augmented with A. And now we know what is A transpose. It is 1, 1. So from here we can find that.
Yeah.
It would be, yeah, so A transpose would again give us A. So that is how.
Yeah, okay. So can you write Dhruv here?
Yes, ma'am.
G is equal to yeah, so bracket 1 1 1 1 1 and put after 1 put some big line separating first one ke baad yeah, right. Yeah, why that big one? So that is identity. That is identity. And what is this portion? 1 1 portion, that is A.
Yeah,
this is A. So now in H, that is A transpose. A transpose is the first column 1 1. How H look like? Can you write H also? Yeah, H equal to good. You are writing actually. Yeah, right. And identity part. So there you put line. Very good. Thanks. Yeah, you understood. Is it okay now? Vikram? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now, once you got G, now you know how to construct all the vectors. So G, the rows of G forms the basis for the code C. Once you know the basis, then you know how to get entire vector space. The rows of G are the basis for the code. So we have only one vector. So basis, this is the basis. So I hope everyone is clear. Still you have asked questions, please ask. I'm very thankful to Vikram for asking. Still you have some questions. Do not hide those things. Ask now itself. Any questions?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Sir, till now, whatever we were doing with every code. Sir, what is the difference in like we are studying Hamming code right now, but we have this theory is for general other codes also.
Right,
So,
right.
is there any difference?
So Hamming codes are actually one of the major reasons is that it is created by first. He created first, and they have very nice thing about them. Yeah. So actually, yeah, it is better. Can you say through certain things? Then I will continue later. I should not take your main things now. You say some certain things about the nice characteristic about Hamming code, why this is useful or something.
So the first characteristic which differs from any code is like the conversion from bit to decimal, and each representation is unique. So each column we have here is unique. So there is no repetition sort of thing. So which in later part we can see how it is advantageous.
Yeah. Okay.
Another thing I'm thinking, sir. I'm also not For
Okay.
this example, I'm not getting that much
Not for
difference.
this example. In general, she is asking that Hamming codes. See, I'll tell you one. Okay, I hope even if I taken your thing, okay, let it be. So, for example, Karnika, so you can construct not just one code. You can change n, and for each n, I can construct one distance of 3. You give me n, I will give you a code. Is it okay, Karnika?
Yes, sir. So 4.
So n equal to 4.
Yes.
N equal to 4. What is your question? What is a code? With a distance equal to 3, right? Yeah. So that is the question. We keep that question with you. Now, next question, n equal to 5. So for each n, I can create a Hamming code with a nice properties. Is it okay, Dhruv?
Yes.
Yeah. So that is, we need to now answer this question. Is it okay, Karnika?
Yes, sir.
What we are saying is that not for just one n. We are giving for any given n, we are constructing infinite family of linear codes now at a time. Is it okay?
Sir, I couldn't understand what is the significance of R when we say recency.
No. So no, don't worry about that. What we are first of all try to understand one point. For each n, we are creating one code. So see, for example, for each n, you tell me one code which you know.
Sir, redundancy code.
No. For each n, tell me one code which you know for sure. Okay, I'll ask you much more specific. You are not asked questions yourself. That's why you are facing these problems. I'll ask one question to you, Karnika. Not it is when I am saying you, it is not you, entire class. And you are the representative. I am very thankful to you for asking questions. That is beautiful. I'll appreciate you and very thankful to you. Okay. So question to you, it is Karnika means everyone. Okay. So Karnika is a representative. So, okay. My question to all of you is that for each n, can you give me a code whose distance is equal to n itself?
Repetition code 000.
That is a repetition code. But see, so all of you clear about that? For each n, so there is a code which distance also equal to n. So can you construct one more? How many we can construct? Yeah, so ask questions yourself. I am not asking you to tell answer to me. Okay, for each n. So what are the codes with exactly distance equal to n? Yeah. So for example, can you tell me for F3, Karnika? My finite field is F3 itself. Can you tell me a code, C, linear code, whose distance equal to 3?
000111222.
Very good. Now, but if I say that just code, not a linear code, can you have one more other than this? Ask questions like this. Now I am removing that concept of zero code.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we have to choose. See, when I say linear code, then automatically there is a restriction. What is the restriction? At least one restriction is there. What is that?
0 has to be there.
Very good. 000 has to be there. Now, once 000 is there, it is putting restriction on the other codes, code words. Now, I cannot take any code word which contains 0 because of this guy. It is destroying one way to create having more codes. So this is it not natural question? Are you asked yourself? You are not asked. That is my concern actually. I'm a little angry because of that. These are simple. You know, you ask questions, you will get the solutions. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Don't worry. That is good. Today at least we are answering, and so we have a linear. We have a code of length 3, right? Now, so you are able to construct 1. Now go to length n minus 1. Can you have 1? So earlier we asked a question that what are the rates? Rates are from 0 to 1. 0, what are the generally 0, 1 by n, 2 by n, 3 by n, up to n by n. So we have all of them. Surely there is subspaces for each dimension. Okay, so there are linear codes, but now each linear code need not be very good for us. It has to have some sort of nice things. What is a nice thing? We need distance. Distance is important. Every linear code need not have behaves nicely. Okay, I had to select the code in such a way that, so can you ask questions? Are you asked a question to yourself that if I take a linear code of length 3, can I have different distances with dimension 2? Yeah, so just a question. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so now going further. So you understand that distance 3 aapne samajh gaya. Oh, sorry, distance equal to n you understood. Now distance 3, any length n. So can I have, I'm not now asking the dimension. I'm just asking the distance of the code is 3. Then what are the different possibilities? Now, so now dimension can change. Dimension, different dimensions I can have distance 3, but better to have largest dimension. Still distance equal to 3. That is a nice, right? That is a Hamming code property. Is it okay, Karnika?
Yes.
Yeah. Any other questions? Very good, actually. So Hamming codes are nice codes. Not only we observed for simple cases like small values, but later we extended it for any n, for any r. So r is just a parameter. From that I can evaluating, I am expressing everything in terms of, see, how do you express circle, Karnika? How do you express a circle? In R2, circle equation is x square plus y square equal to 1. But it has 2 variables, but I want 1 variable. Then how do you do it?
Cos square theta.
Cos t sin t, right? I will express each point on the circle as cos t comma sin t or cos theta comma sin theta. So only theta now varying. Of course, I'll put restrictions. Like that, n and k are different things. But now we are writing n as well as k, everything in terms of r. So that is a parameter. Is it okay, Karnika?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. So this is the another beauty of Hamming code. For each r, I am constructing 1. Right? You know, so people Pythagorean triples also like that. I'm just giving different areas and connecting it. So for each r, I have some n. So, but again, he confined only to the binary codes. Okay. So that's why he's taking 2 power r. But now you can go to ternary code, then it comes 3 power. Okay. Yeah. So I will, it is not good.
Clear.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Karnika.
Yes, sir. Now it's clear.
Everything clear. Okay. So I'll stop now a little bit sometime. Yeah. Over to Dhruv. Sorry, Dhruv. Yeah.
So R is K, or if I've got modulo, is R K?
No, R is not K. So he already given earlier. So n value is 2 power r minus 1 and k is equal to 2 power r minus 1, right? Can you show, Dhruv? Yeah.
So R is just a variable, or like,
R is a redundancy. I'll explain it. An example, which was the last one. For something which use like you can take it as integer is greater than equal to 2, which helps us find the binary Hamming code. We can find this n comma k comma d. D is also fixed and r is also fixed. D is equal to, and r what we choose. For now. Hello.
Hello. I roughly heard what you're saying. Your voice is breaking. Thank you.
Actually, see, to represent actually, see, to, for example, Hamming code of r comma q. Beautiful. See, Hamming code of r comma q. So somebody can tell me that what is the, so when q equal to 2, it is called binary Hamming code. So I do not need to tell what is n and what is k, what is d. Yes, for all Hamming codes, you need to just specify r.
It reduces our work to just mention all the things. So we can just say r and q are there and we can vary their values.
Is it okay, Rohan?
Yes, sir, yes.
So it is useful for writing code, programming and everything. So n is a function of r, k is a function of r, and d is fixed, d equal to 3. Yeah, so that much we can say at this juncture.
Like I am using the Sage Math. So also one remark is there that the columns of parity check matrix may be written in any order. So that is just a remark. Now, in Sage Math, we can define this finite fields as GF and the number of symbols we want. So this I have defined V is our field as G2, and I'm considering this matrix H, which is our matrix over V. So why I'm writing this V, it won't multiply this matrix or a thing which would give us answer greater than 2. It will modulo 2 each and every term. So what we get here is I'm taking this 1, 1, 1 and applying this thing so that to check if it is 0 or not. So it is 0, 0. That means it's a code word for the above, and the answer who would have given this would be correct. Coming to the exercise 1. So to show that the standard form of the parity check matrix for the binary Hamming code can be obtained by merely rearranging its columns. For the above example, it is easy to say. Am I correct? But when I take this sixth example, we will discuss this question exercise after this. So computing the parity check matrix for the given R is equal to now my ham 3 2. So the parity check matrix I'm taking here. So first, what I'm doing, I'm again finding the non-zero binary length 3 codes. So after that, I'm arranging in this manner. This is just I'm arranging in the ascending order for a meaning. Like I can convert it into decimal and I can write that it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So everyone, can anybody answer that are the columns of H distinct? So it would be easy. And the columns of independent. So are the two columns?
Dhruv, actually your voice is breaking, so I will ask actually on behalf of you. So he is asking that is it any two columns are different or not? That is a question number 1. If I take any two columns here,
Yeah, they are.
They are different. Okay. So are you able to construct for any R now H? Karnika, can you construct for R equal to 4 now?
So his voice was breaking so much. I couldn't understand how he made H.
Oh, he told here it is clearly written. Are you able to see the slides? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are able to see?
Okay. So it
No,
is
1 minute. 1 minute, Karnika. Last class also I explained, but whether you are there or not, I don't know. But anyhow.
Yes,
So,
sir. Yes, sir. Now I understand. It is the representation of 1, 2, 3, 4 in binary. Okay.
But what is missing here? Binary pay. So how many? What is the how many binary digits? Binary strings of length 3 will be there. Binary strings of length 3. How many will be there? 0, 0, 0 to 1, 1, 1. सारी की सारी कितनी होगा?
So 2 to the power 3 minus 1.
2 to the power 3, including 0, 0, 0, right?
Yeah.
So how many will be there? R equal to 3.
So 8.
8. Okay. Now how many are there in this here?
7.
7. Which one is missing?
So 0.
0, 0, 0 is missing, right?
Yes.
So that is the only thing missing. Only one is missing, bus, right?
Yes.
Only one is missing. All of them are available here. Am I clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now can you tell me for R equal to 4, how many columns will be there for which?
Yes, sir.
Tell me fast.
So 2 to the power 4. So it would be 15 columns we'll get.
Yeah. So for R equal to 5?
Sir, similarly 31 will get.
31 columns will be there. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So you know how to construct H now. Your answer also now completed.
Yeah. Yes.
That is the H. So now computing parity check matrix is very easy. But not only that, what is Ru asking is that he is putting them in a Papa order. Right? You can interchange columns, but you will get equivalent code. But it is okay, that's okay. But it is better to put in a proper order. Later, decoding becomes easy. Okay, that's okay. We'll see that later. But at this juncture, so do you understand all the columns of the parity check matrix?
Yes.
Okay. Are you able to construct now for any R?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what are the next questions you have? Means now, what are the questions generally we can ask now? So, is it a linear code? So, anyhow, it is a linear code. What is the K value and all, right? Am I correct? Hello, Karnika.
Yes.
What is K here?
So
for
we
this?
can calculate by the formula 2 to the power r minus 1.
Not like that, I'm saying. So suppose you constructed for n equal to 4.
Yes.
N equal to 4, how many columns will be there? R equal to 4, sorry. R equal to 4, how many columns will be there?
So 15.
15. That is okay. So how many? So then what is the size of the H? H is a parity check matrix, है ना?
Yes, n minus k cross n, so we'll match it.
Okay, yeah. Let me now complete. Now what is K?
Sir, it would be
4.
4 for here in this particular case, in this example. In general, I am asking. Yeah, okay. You ask. You can answer later one by one. That's okay. Yeah. So that is the overall picture. So try to answer the first question one after the another. So first question, all of you are clear. All the columns of H are distinct. Are you okay with that? Yes. Okay. Any two columns are linearly independent or not? That is the next question. Are you fine with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
How do you prove it?
None of the columns are equal, so they are linearly independent.
Yeah. So are you clear about every one of you? Aditi told answer very fast, but of course we discussed. That's why she's telling. But any one of you can clarify it. Why any two columns of H are linearly independent?
Yes, sir, they are linearly independent because they are not a linear combination. So here the linear combination means only the means differ at each and every place. So here none of them are distinct. So they are linearly independent.
No, you are telling little more actually. So they are different at each and every place and are not required. So actually you take two binary vectors. So you know that
linear scalar multiple, but like is non-zero scalar multiple, but here we are in F is over, is like we are in binary, so only 1 and 0.
Right. Yeah. So these are all non-zero code. So all columns are non-zero first thing. So how do you show that any two columns are linearly independent? Because so none of them is upstreaming from the other by multiplying by 1. Multiplying by 1 means they are so that is exactly same. The first two statements are same. All columns are distinct. Any two columns are linearly independent. So first question is yes. Second question is also yes. So both are same questions actually. When the binary case, all columns are distinct. Any two columns are linearly independent are the same. Right. Is it okay, Pragati? No, Pranita, sorry.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, so thanks. So now third question is that any three columns of H are linearly dependent or not? Are there any three columns?
First three, sir.
But there is a difference. You should not ask like that. So look at the difference between second question and third question. Second question is that are any two columns, and here there exist any three columns. We should need to modify. Is it okay, Dhruv? Yeah. Are there exist three columns? Are there exist three columns which are linearly independent? Now any and all you can have to. Are there exist three columns of? Are there exist three columns which are linearly dependent? Okay. Are there exist three columns which are? Are there exist three columns in H which are linearly dependent? Okay, that's okay. You people think about that now. So this question we answered you answered last time, right?
First three columns only you can see.
Linearly dependent. So that's why, right? Because first three में क्या हो रहे हैं? So 0, 0, 0, 1 and the second column is 0, 0, 0, 0, 1 and third column is 1, 1. So whatever the n r you take, that is the same situation. First three itself is helping us to find out. Okay, fine. Yeah. So go ahead, bro.
Yes. So this I would help Kuldeep in developing the code. So I just happen to these things where we are getting. So we can direct for parity check matrix. Unable to use many code. Okay. So now seventh, the generator matrix of T. So as this is already discussed that H is equal to, so I have taken it in this point of view because I have taken parity check matrix in the start. So I have taken H is equal to A augmented I n minus K, and then I have defined G as this. So I don't think that would be a problem, right, sir?
Yes,
so
yes,
like
yes.
Whatever you defined was from G to H. So
Right,
I just
right.
defined from H to G.
No, both are same actually. See, thing is that see, you are going from C to C perp and C perp to C. They are orthogonal to each other. Yeah. So that is good actually. It is better to look at this way also. I do not confine only in one way. Yeah, I know then I am constructing actually the parity check matrix for the C perp ka perp, right? Yeah, that's good.
So for the above code, so I can just look for this thing. So for this above code, if I do the standardization of this thing, and so I'm taking the A transpose, so it is this element, only this element. not able to do this like here above this blue thing. So that is 0 1 1 1 0 1 1 1 0 1 1 1, and this is nothing but the value of k is 4 for here. So this is the identity matrix of order 4. Okay, so moving on, we can observe that whatever I have written till here, I didn't mention NKD or NMD till now, but now I'm just telling that hem R, that is hem 3 can be equally called as N K Q. So this is the way we can represent, and this substitution we get the values like this. So just
so 1 minute, Dhruv, actually, yeah. So again, your voice is breaking. So I will give one more time. Whenever it is going well, you continue. Yeah. See, all of you look at before going further. So can you construct the entire code now from the G? Hello. So how many code? What is the size of the C from G? From G. Now don't look into any other aspects. Hello.
Q raised to K. 2 raised to K.
Yeah, 2 raised to K. Here, what is K? Number of columns, number of rows of G.
4.
4, right? 2 power 4. So total, how many vectors will be there in the code before actually finding the code? Right.
16.
16. Okay. So how do you get them? You already know 4 of them. What are those?
The 4 rows.
Rows of the G. So already you know 4 rows. So these are already 4. This is the basis of that entire code. So can you, how do you get other codes now? Total 16, 12 bacha hai. How do you get 12? Right? Yeah, not Rohan now. Somebody else.
Span.
Yeah, linear span. So that is okay. So add few items. Yeah. So linear span actually, right? Yeah, just a linear span of this. So can you explain further? In general, how do you get the linear span? What do you mean by linear span, Shruti?
So we will add.
No, that's okay. You will tell that A times first vector plus.
Yeah, but it is A times V1 plus A1 plus into V1 plus A2 into V2 plus A3 into V3.
F2K and
and then just take A1, A2, A3, A4 as 0 and 1. And done.
Right. See, you take these words and I'm just telling A1, V1 and I'm not taking. In general, you can extend it. So let us assume that these vectors are X, Y, Z, W. These vectors are capital X, Y, Z, W. Right. Now I'm telling that A times X plus B times Y plus C times Z plus D times W. Now you keep change values A, B, C, D as 0 or 1, right? We'll get total 2 power 4, right? Yeah, so you know that. Yeah, so this is the way. So is it okay now, Vikram? From H to G, G to code.
Yes, sir.
Now it is how I hope no. You know how to compute entire code from G, H.
Yeah.
H to G and G to entire code C. All linear combinations of this. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Vikram. Yes.
No, we can list F2K, like that would be means. And then
yeah, another approach is that what Rohan is telling, that you take F2 power K means 0 0 0 0 1 1 and take multiply. That is exactly what your generator matrix is encoding. What it is doing, linear combination actually meaning is what? You are multiplying VG, V into G. V is taken from F2 power K. That is exactly the definition. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Rohan.
So we can ask like show that the binary Hamming code is equivalent to the perfect code 7.16.3. So what I had to look into it, I say that for the above exercise, we know that the number of code words for ham 3,2, what sir already told, is 2 power 4, that is 16, right? And that is 4 bits can generate only 16 its codes. So we can observe that this 16 code words are nothing but the cosets to the Hamming code. So that we can assert and show. Was I clear?
No, your statement is not correct. So they are code words.
Yeah, sir, I also felt. Yeah.
No. So I think you want to say code words. I think you told cosets. That's the only difference. Cosets are different. So cosets are now later. This is the C. Now you have C. Now you will. What are the vectors which are not available in this code? You will take one at a time and add it to that, and you will get another subset of vector space of same dimension. That is, they are the cosets, right? They know. All of them know. Don't worry about that. Yeah, you can proceed now. Your voice is now clear.
Yes. So there is a theorem. So we would like to prove that the theorem Hamming codes are perfect. So for this is for every Hamming code. This is not even restricted to Q is equal to 2. So how can we proceed? So we are going to use this theorem which we had proved. So this
Wait.
Such
okay.
that any...
No, sorry. Your voice is again breaking. So all of you, so distance equal to 3. What do you mean by perfect code? So can somebody help us?
For distance d, we should be able to write it as 2t plus 1 for some t.
Very good. Okay. Next, continue, please.
So here the distance is 3. So 2 plus 1.
T is equal to 1. Okay. T equal to 1. Okay, good. Next, afterwards. Yeah, please carry on. So T equal to 1. What is that next you do? You will construct balls, right? Spheres.
T is 1. So the sphere of radius 1, which will cover the entire space.
Okay. So what is that we are doing? We are taking each code word and we are constructing a sphere of radius 1. So what are the vectors which contains that? What are the vectors which are available in that sphere? What are the vectors which are there in that sphere?
Less than 3.
Less than or equal to 1, right? Less than or equal to 1. T equal to 1. I am taking a sphere. Distance equal to 3. 3 is equal to 2t plus 1. T equal to 1. I am constructing a sphere with the center at one code word. So let us take 0, 0, 0, right? First 0. That is one code word. So now we are constructing a circle with radius 1. So then is there any other code word in that circle? In the sphere, sorry, in that sphere? Hello? Is there any other code word in that sphere?
No, sir.
No, because to get another code word, distance is at least 3. Yes. And now you take another code. You take another code word. So I'll have another sphere. So is there any intersection portion? You take another sphere with another code word as a center.
No, sir.
No. Right? Yeah. So these are asked already. So no. But that is not the perfect code means. That is in general true for any thing, any code. Okay. When you take 2t plus 1 and you take that sphere, then it is okay. But what is the perfect code means? all code words are inside these circles only. You cannot miss even single code word. All of them are packed completely. That's why it is called spear packing bound also. But what is a bound actually? Somebody can recall that spear packing bound or Hamming bound? You remember that?
Yes, M into like if we take each code word,
right.
We construct a sphere and they will not
we'll count that how many code words are there in that sphere. Correct. Multiply to each code word. That is less than or equal to what? All the code words. Yeah. So that is exactly Q power n. Again, we are giving the proof, complete proof. Correct. But that's okay. But t equal to 1, how many code words are there? How many words are there in each sphere? Here now distance is Q is also 2. Yeah, so he given here, 1. You see, so here he already gave here. You can see that at the last line, so 1 plus y1 actually, now distance is t equal to 1 here. So distance 0 and distance 1, those are the code words will be there, right? So he wrote n plus n into q minus 1. I hope you remember that q minus 1 part, how we done, okay? Yeah. So yeah, this is the very good. Yeah. So he's rightly pointing out that m is less than or equal to. So yeah. So he wrote everything actually. Very good. So when t equal to 1, what happens? Right? T equal to 1 exactly equal to. Perfect code means equal to. So somebody now convert and tell us everything in terms of perfect code. General for q equal to 2 case में बता सकते हैं sir? Everything. Yeah, so Dhruv, you check again how it is your voice is going.
Yeah, sir. So, sir, this I had asked some questions regarding this thing, that any two columns of H are linearly independent. But when we go for 3 columns, we get that they are linearly dependent. And when I give the reasoning for the distance to not be greater than 3, okay. So I can have this three columns always. I think I would unhighlight, then it would be visible. So these 3 columns are
linearly dependent.
Sorry.
That's okay. Okay.
Yeah, I meant to write linearly dependent. So they are always linearly dependent. So there is no chance of the distance to be greater than 3. Okay. And that would prove for the distance is equal to 3. Then the what we used to write a, q, n, comma, d. Here I have written m, a, q, n, comma, d, which is less than equal to the sphere packing bound. So what I have written here is I have just taken this denominator on the left hand side and computed. For here we have the correcting error t is equal to 1. So we have the value of t is equal to 1. So this below, what we take, this thing, it is nothing but 1 plus n times q minus 1. And on substitution, we get it as q power n, which is the RHS itself, and the equality holds. So the equality for the sphere packing bound is becoming true, and hence it is perfectly achieved. And this is the proof for Hamming code to be a perfect code. Sir, anything I need to add?
No, not required. Okay, see, so just one point you need to add. Okay, I'll let you know that to everyone. See, so you know that first all columns are non-zero. That means if you take any single column, any but one column, they are linearly independent. From that, we conclude that distance of the code is greater than 1, strictly greater than 1.
Strictly greater than 1, yes.
Okay. Now, any two columns are linearly independent. From that, you will get that distance of the code is strictly greater than 2. greater than 2. So now it is 3 or more. But now whenever you got 3 linearly dependent columns, then distance is less than or equal to 3, equal to also, less than or equal to 3. Okay, it cannot be greater than now 3, less than or equal to 3, right? Now from these two, we'll get distance equal to 3. So that is the thing. Is it that is the proof for D equal to 3 exactly. Okay.
Yes.
But how do you know that? How do you know that when I give 3 columns which are linearly dependent, how do you are saying that distance is less than or equal to 3? That is the question you need to ask. I proved it earlier. Okay, so that is the place you need to think about. Okay, so you remember that at that time I proved that k columns and all. So Pragati is not here today. She explained at that time. So there is one girl called Pragati. She explained at that time. When I am telling, she took over. Okay, very easy actually. See, 3 columns are linearly dependent. Then I can have a non-zero scalars related to that. That product equal to linear combination equal to 0, still non-zero. That means that I have a code word of that will help us to find the distance less than or equal to 3. Okay, so I request you to look into that again one more time. Yeah, so that is better. That is take as an exercise and again check. That is a heart. That is very, very important. From the parity check matrix, it is dependent, independent. Say I can find the distance of the code. So everyone has to absorb in their blood. That is very much required. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. Any questions till now? So perfect code means that why it is perfect code that you need to check. So yeah, equal to here equal to means, but what is T? T equal to 1. So what is this sum actually? Can somebody help me? So can you enlarge it? Last part, can you enlarge, Dhruv? Means,
right?
That particular, it is not visible that much. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Thank you. Yeah, so you see that k equal to 0 to t. So t equal to 1. How many terms will be there in this? Hello? 2 terms will be there, right? What are those? Yeah, Rohan, go ahead, please.
Q minus 1 plus Q minus n into n minus 1 by 2 Q minus 1 raised to 2.
No, 2 tak nahi jayega. See, k equal to 0 to t equal to 1. So k equal to 0, k equal to 1. K equal to 0, I'll get NC 0. Q minus 1 whole power 0. When k equal to 1
plus Q minus 1.
N into Q minus 1. But now, but now I am in the binary code. What is Q value? 2. Okay. So can you somebody help us that what is capital M actually? First of all, what is capital M here? Capital M is size of
code.
Okay. What is the size of the code here? Size of the code, you know that it is equal to 2 power k, right? What is k here? Computed earlier. Do not look into this, whatever available here. In general, you tell me what is what is k?
So in terms of R or?
R only, yes.
So some 2 raised to R or some minus R or something.
Why k is equal to 2 power R minus R minus 1? Why it is so? Because it is n minus R, right? That's why it is. N is equal to 2 power R minus 1. You know why it is 2 power R minus 1? I am removing the 0 thing, right? So that's why k is equal to 2 power R minus. When you substitute n value in terms of R, then it becomes 2 power So somebody may be confusing. That's why I'm telling that. Okay, that also I'm telling. Yeah, q power r minus 1. Is it clear? Yeah. So, but actually k is n minus r, right? Is it okay, everyone? Why k equal to r is clear to everyone? Yeah, okay. So now, so substitute 2 here everywhere, right? So and check whether it is really equal or not. Yeah, you can proceed through.
So, sir, about the syndrome, I had created a code. Before that, I would like to just take an example in normal words. So this was the query asked by Rohan. So here I am taking the value of r is equal to 4 and q is equal to 2. So we will see that how do we detect the code, detect the error, and how do we correct the error. Okay, by sending an 11-bit message. Okay, so now the example I have written this. I was not able to type this. Sorry, but I think it is visible. So this is the picture I have attached, and I will do the explanation in the Excel sheet. So suppose we consider ham 4, 2, okay, and it is equivalent to 15, 11, 3. Okay, so that I have calculated. We have discussed in last lecture also. So the k is equal to 11. So the message length I can send is 11 with the redundancy equivalent to 4. So I will explain that what is the redundancy, etc. Okay, so now let r is equal to r be the so now this r is the received, not the received message. It is what we need to transmit. So it should be t. So be the message we need to transmit. So it has 11 bit of information which we need to transfer. We consider this Hamming code and try to transmit through the noisy channel with an additional parity bit. Now, what is an additional parity bit? That also I'll explain in the Excel sheet. Okay, so here the redundancy. So now redundancy R is equal to n minus k, which is 15 minus 11 is equal to 4. So these are the parity checks. You can say it is a parity check, which we check while after receiving a code. Okay, so I'll explain it nicely here. So let us have a channel of 16-bit transmission. So here you can see that I have considered 4 cross 4, that is 16 elements here. So for the 11 code, what I have done here is nothing but I have put the first element here, the second element here, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is my actual message which I am going to send. Now, when I talk about this thing, this and this, so these are the parity check. These are the parity checks or parity bits, whatever you want to name it. But these are used to check if there is an error or not. Also, there is a specific you would ask me the question that why they are being set here. So they are, if you observe that they are set here within the power of 2. So here it is 2 power 0, here it is 2 power 1, here it is 2 power 2, and here it is 2 power 3. Okay, so they are there for a reason. And about the extra additional parity bit, that is 0 here. So how do we write it? So we have these things, right? 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1. Okay, just neglect what is repeated, etc. Okay, if even the dimension of the code is a little less, then also please avoid that thing. So how do we compute these things? So when I see I need to name this 2 bits first. So for my bit to be here, the parity. So what do we mean by parity? So parity is nothing but even or odd. In layman tongues, I can say that it is even or odd. The color is not visible. Just a second. So even or odd. So what can I say? That if the sum of the ones is even, then I'll write it as 0. Okay. And if it is odd, then I'll write it as 1. So when I check for this position, this one position, I will try to see this position. That is this second column. This second column and this thing. Please observe carefully. So how many number of ones are there? So I can count it 1, 2, 3. So it is an odd number. So I am writing here 1. When I do this for here, then I'll use. Okay. So now I will try to find it for this thing. So this is the parity check for last two columns. Okay. And when we count the number, it is again odd. So that's why I'm writing here 1. Similarly, when I do it for this 0, I can see that here 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's why we have an even parity here. Again, for this last one, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is what I am going to write. The message is not transmitted yet. Okay. So we are just preparing to send the message. Okay. Now the last thing, this is the parity bit which defines the number of even or odd number of ones in the total message. So here I can now count this parity bits also. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now here I am writing it as 0. Okay. Now when I transmit it to the noisy channel, I have taken the uniformity of the error to be 2. So 2 error would occur, and the errors are defined here. I have changed this value from 1 to 0 and from 0 to 1 just for checking purpose. And I'll move to the Excel sheet. Yep. So here you can observe that now if I have these things, how could I detect? So the only thing is that we need to find the location of the errors. So first of all, I can see here that if the message is sent and this is the message output what I am getting, this one is the output. Okay. So this thing is the output. So what I can do, so first of all, I'll check this 0. So is this 0 correct? So for that, what I need to do for this other elements, I need to check the number of ones here. So can we count? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this parity check is correct. Yeah, I know that this is changed to this, but then also we can't say anything. We can't infer anything for this parity check. Okay. After that, we move on to this one. So for this one, what I can do, I have to count the number of ones in this row, this column and this column. So what I count? 1, 2, 3, 4. So now this bit, I think it should be 0, right? It should have been 0 if the code is having no error. I can assume that it should be 0, but it is not giving 0. It is 1. So there is an error in the second column or the fourth column. So we can just write it down. Error in second or fourth column. Sorry, I'm using mouse, so I can't write that properly. After that, what we do, I will check for this one. There is no need to write this 0. So for this one, what I'll count is this 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, there is an error. Okay. So now it should have been 0 if there is no error. So if we assume that there is an error, so the error is in third and fourth column. Okay. So what do we infer from this? Can anybody say? Have we cornered the error?
Third or the fourth column, right?
Yeah. For the second one, here this one,
There's
this should be
error.
0. Yeah. So we count this to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, for the last two columns. Okay, this should be 1. So there is an error in the column 3 or column 4. Previously, we observed it is in the error is in 2 and 4. Now we are getting with the second parity check at the position 2, we are getting it as 3 and 4. Can I say that the error is in a specific column?
Fourth column.
Yeah. So I can just say for now that it is in the 4th column. The error is in the fourth column. Okay. Now I'll try to check from this side. Okay. So I'll see this is 0. So I'll check this 1, 2. Okay. And this is 3. Okay. Clearly I'm mentioning this is the second row and the 4th row. As I explained earlier, second row and the 4th row. From that we are counting the number of ones. Okay. Which are not in the orange one. Okay. So for that we get the answer as odd. The number is odd. So what should be this value?
1.
1. But it is not 1. So we assume that there is an error. There is an error in second row or the 4th row. Row. This time row. Okay. So the error is in second or 4th row. Now again, when we again take this one, that is the parity check at the position 8, that is 2 power 3. So what do we get? Again, the count is 3. And again, we come to the point where we can say that the error is this. Error is at position 3, 4. So the intersection, by intersection, we can say that the 4th row is having an error. Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's clear.
So have we detected 2 errors?
We just know it's in the 4th row or 4th column.
Yeah. So we just know that the error, okay, so the error is here or here. As it is a binary, if we are able to know the position, we can just change from 0 to 1. Am I correct? So that's why that's why there is a 2 error made. So we can only detect, right? We can only detect. We can't correct it. Now one more thing. We also know that there is no error in this, right? So this cell can be made white. Am I correct?
Yes. Because,
what about this?
Yes. And also the second and the 3rd column.
So now my question to you is about this one. The 4th row and 4th column. What can you say about this? What can you say about 4th row, 4th column? Can anyone say that where does, assuming that we are not having this transmitted code?
Your voice is breaking.
Hello. Assuming that we don't know what was the real code, I'm repeating, we don't know the real code. If we don't know the real, can we say where the 2 errors are? Like we have detected that there are 2 errors or 3. Hello.
Yes, you're
Hello, am I
audible now.
audible?
Yes, yes. But out of these 3, how to finalize where is the error?
So about the parity check, okay, I was going to write this 0, right? We need to fix, okay, we need to fix, like, so I would like to change this. It would be 1 and this would be 0. So can you see if, can you check again that if it is satisfying parity checks? I assume that these 2 were the errors. Okay, so I corrected them. Now can anyone check if there is a contradiction of any parity check, please?
There is the 0 in the second row would change to 1, right? Because it will become odd with this change. So that means this was wrong, no?
Yeah. So are you getting my point? That we can approach to the problem like this. So what is the redundancy? The extra bits which we happen to use, so that after our message is sent, so there is some safety that I can recover that message. Okay, I can decode that message to the original form. Am I making sense? So redundancies, okay, with the 16-bit channel, okay, I am able to send only 11-bit of message, okay, and 5 are the redundancies. From that 5, 4 are the redundancies. 1 is just the parity bit extra to check the number of ones in the whole code. What if we have only 1 error, like this 1 error? Can you all do the same? Like, yes, we got the error and we are also eliminating it. Now the value of t is 1. Now here the value of t is 1. And this is the error I'm saying. So you can just a second. Yeah, it is correct. I copied this one only, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can see the parity check, and what we did the first time for the columns and 3, 4 are having errors.
Yes,
from that we
check.
corner our error.
Yes, because it has to be on the 4th column, and if you check for the rows, it is coming even only. It's 1, 1 and 1, 1. So that is right. So there is no error in the 2nd, 3rd and the 4th row, which says the error has to be in the 1st row, 4th column, which is 1. And you change 1 to 0.
So by this, all of you would have understood that why this Hamming code is we have 1 correcting and 2 detecting.
Okay, so Dhruv, actually, I am giving you that till now the chance is that you are very beautifully prepared Excel sheet and also that's why I do not want to interfere. But very good. So maybe you can prepare another time that some video on this, maybe, right? You can explain and share with everyone. Maybe that will be helpful. Those who are still not clear, they can understand it. Am I okay?
Okay, sir, I'll do that. I finished, like, this explanation was really.
Yeah. Actually, see, I want to tell you that the parity check matrix parities are actually that null space actually. you know that G and H, the perpendicular type, right? The column, the rows of G perpendicular to each and every row of H. So H actually acting as the basis for the null space of G, right? So
this kernel.
That is kernel. Null space is kernel, right? Exactly. So we will get some equations in the linear algebra sense. It is actually this Hamming code and all different people came up with the different approaches to explain. So Dhruv also taken from some place. So he's explaining that, but don't need to worry about all that stuff also. Basically, we are parity check. As he rightly pointed, parity is 0 or 1. But that he tried to explain that even in the equations here, binary pe parity kaise ho rahe, but in general, no need to worry about that. So that concept of parity people increased. So just that name they took, first it came from the parity only, but later, so they not changed the name actually. They call it as parity check matrix. Parities are as it is used, but don't worry about that. So they are actually equations, okay? So the rows of H are giving you some equations, right? Yeah. So the null space, right? You are finding the solutions of the homogeneous system of equations, right? So that is exactly those homogeneous equations are the parity, right? So for example, perfect parity. So last column all are 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Last column, that is exactly that you are actually checking parity. How many? That is that equation is x plus y plus z equal to 0, like that. Earlier, n equal to 3 case, you done it. Okay, so that's fine. Yeah. So you want to say a few other things, Dhruv?
Only one thing, sir.
Right.
I tried for coding, but I'm sorry, but I couldn't finish it because I didn't wanted to use inbuilt things. I would help Kuldeep on that. So
right.
just a second. I have done. I'm just a second. It is not zooming out. Just a second. Yeah. So what I did is I am using this thing to define a matrix. So everyone can do this. This is very easy. And after that, I am getting this GH. So there is a function matrix space with which we can define a matrix space. So this matrix space I have defined on GF2. GF2 it is F2. So all the things are zeros and ones, and it has the order 1, 3. So all the possible so actually I had done this for 4-bit first. Okay, that's why it is this. So cardinality is 8, and we can have the elements. So I have written a code for getting all the codes in that.
Very good.
So these are the codes. Okay. So this we can actually extend if I need to write a function to get the element in G2. So I have written this code. Then if I wish to find out that I have written this code coset leader and then find the syndromes using that. Yeah. So I have written this code and if I run this, so I get the syndrome as this.
Very good.
Yeah. So and if it is in the coset leader, we can extend it if loop, etc. and see and check. Yeah, check if it is. So this is the random element. It takes any element from the code C.
Very good.
Yeah. So then we can extend it here. So it is not in the coset leader. Then now again, if I do, then it is 0, 0, etc. Yeah. So just this.
Yeah. No. It is wonderful actually. Yeah. So I hope he is one of your colleague only. So he understand most of the things. You can able to see that. So that is one of the purpose actually involving students. So now at least he understand the coding theory much better in future also, right? So that one particular concept you take and you try to understand that, then you automatically understand the entire other parts of coding theory also. Right? That is the purpose of actually my assigning topics to you. Okay. Yeah. Any questions to Dhruv? Any one of you? Okay. If not, so you can unshare. Yeah, thanks. Any questions in the meantime, you can ask further to Dhruv. Yes. I don't know what is happening. Okay. So are you able to see the screen? Dhruv, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. Okay. So just a remaining time, just I'll recall these things, right? Okay. So I request you that to go through the cyclic codes also, right? This is a part of the syllabus. So in the previous class, I introduced that what is a cyclic code. Okay, so take a deep breath and just concentrate again. Cyclic code is a linear code first, and extra property that if I take a right shift, again, that is also a code word. That is the thing. So if you take any code word, if I take a right shift of that, that is x0, x1 up to xn minus 1, right shift, that is also a code word, right? Yeah. So here there are much advantages are there. So I explained, I given a lot of examples on that thing, but yeah, so still I have limited time. So, but that's why I'll again come back to this. So this is the overall conclusion mein bata dun pehle, right? Then I'll go to that. Okay. So I put summary at one place. Then I'll prove it each one slowly, one after the another. Let C be a cyclic code of length n or a finite field fq. Each code word, that is a0, a1 up to an minus 1, right? 1 minute, I'll show. Yeah, okay, let it be. So we'll associate a polynomial. You know that a0, a1 up to an minus 1, x power n minus 1. Among all non-zero polynomials obtained from C in this way, let g of x be the smallest degree. By dividing its highest coefficient, we'll assume that the highest quotient of g of x is 1. The polynomial g of x is called generating polynomial of C. Is it anybody has doubt here? Let C be a cyclic code of length n over a finite field fq. Each code word, so we associate a polynomial, right? Now I am assuming that it is cyclic code. Then actually, when you convert each code word into a polynomial, then I have polynomial. Now C can think of set of polynomials. So it is clear that in those polynomials, automatically there is a polynomial of the smallest degree. And that in a field, I can divide the highest coefficient by that coefficient. Without loss of generality, I can assume that non-zero coefficient of g of x is 1. This polynomial is called generating polynomial. Is it everyone clear with that? Can you tick yes if you are clear, please? Nothing. So don't worry about remaining aspects, right? Yeah. What I'm doing that I take all the polynomials, each code word convert into polynomial, and I'm taking the smallest degree bus and dividing the highest quotient by 1. Then later we'll show that, and I'll prove it. So that uniquely determined polynomial is called the generating polynomial, and g of x is uniquely determined by C. Okay, again fact. G of x is a divisor of x power n minus 1. Again a fact. We'll prove it. C is exactly the set of the coefficients of the polynomials g of x into f of x, where degree of f is less than or equal to n minus 1 minus degree of g. Okay. So we write x power n minus 1 is equal to g of x into h of x. Then m of x is a code word. Sir, here code polynomial you can say. Code word or code polynomial. Corresponds to an element of C if and only if h of x into m of x equal to 0. Usual, when you multiply the parity check matrix, each code word is orthogonal to each and every row of H. But here, So now only one polynomial say you can do everything. Okay. So that is a linear combination now converted into divisible by g of x, right? So see, every code word is look like g of x into f of x third one. That means that g of x is dividing that, right? So similarly, a code word can also be determined by h of x. H is this g of x into h of x. When you multiply to m of x, then it becomes 0. This is another way to check. Okay, and parity check matrix is given like this. So there is a slight change here. Instead of H0, I'm starting with HK. So I'll explain you this. And generating matrix look like this. Okay, this is the entire picture of the cyclic codes. Okay, now we need to show what is that. What are the questions you have right now in your mind? Why G is uniquely determined? Why Gx is divisor of x power n minus 1? Why every code word is actually g of x into f of x? Or why every code word is h of x into m of x equal to 0? Why the parity check matrix look like this? Why generator matrix look like this? These are the questions you have. So those things I need to answer now, right? That is the overall summary of the cyclic codes. And last time we discussed several examples, right? So now look at here. So this is the first thing. See, cyclic code if and only if C of x is an ideal. Okay, I'm proving that. Okay, assume C is cyclic code. What do you mean by cyclic code? It is the subspace first. It is because it is a linear space. So it is a linear code. So it is a subspace, right? And it is an, so once it is a subspace, it is a subgroup also, abelian group under addition. So we need it. So in order to show it is an ideal, I want to show it cyclic code implies ideal. I need to show ideal now. Ideal prove करने के लिए you need to show two conditions. It is a subgroup and as well as it is closed under. It has an absorption property. What do you mean by absorption property? You take an element from the ring and you take an element from the ideal, then multiply if it, that also should be I. That is a definition of ideal. You know that. Okay. So that is my goal now. But for that, I need to use cyclic code thing. So C of x is cyclic code. And you know that x into C of x belongs to C. Somebody help me that why x into C of x belongs to C when C of x is in C. Not reviewed.
That's the definition of right shift.
So when you multiply by x, it is a right shift. So that is also in C. Like that is x power I into C of x is also in C of x because it is a shift. I am telling it is cyclic code. So what I proved is that x into C of x, x square into C of x, x power I into C of x, they all are there. Then automatically their linear combinations also will be there because it is a subspace. It is a subspace. If these are there, then their linear combination is also there. That means what I'm telling is that you take any ax in fx, fq of x by x power n minus 1. If I multiply, that is also will be there. Now I am using the linear subspace part, right? Once xi ca of x, xi in x power I into c of x are there by cyclic code. Now cyclic code is also linear code. It is subspace. So that's why a of x into c of x there. So I proved that. So I proved that it is an ideal. Now converse is very simple. If it is an ideal, so then I have to show that it is a subspace, that shows it is a linear code. Then it is a cyclic code. Also I need to show. That is much more easier because already it is an ideal. It is an abelian group. So that is already done. Okay. And in fact, if it is a binary code, then it is also sufficient. When the binary code, abelian group is sufficient. Subgroup is sufficient. Okay. But don't worry about that. But we'll prove much more. Okay. So C of x belongs to C. Now I need to show that. Yeah. So sorry, 1 minute. Since it is an abelian group and ideal, so from ideal say subspace bhi aa jayega. So there is no difference between subspaces and ideals when you are in the vector space itself. Ideals and subspaces are same. Okay. Yeah. So think about, and then I need to show it is cyclic. So since it is an ideal, so x power I from ring and c of x from C multiply, it is again in C. right? That's why it's C of x is ideal. This part is quite easy. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So this is the most important result. So C is cyclic code, G of x is a monic polynomial of smallest degree in C. Then G of x is unique and every code word is a multiple of G of x, right? Proof is simple again, okay? So even though the first part is not required here, I given wantedly for some various purposes. First we show that fx belongs to C, be any polynomial of degree equal to G of x. Then I want to show that actually G of x equal to lambda times G of x. Okay. F of x is exactly lambda times G of x. Okay. So how to show it? Okay. This is just a statement. First we show that f of x belongs to f of x is a code word or code polynomial. Then of degree equal to G of x. Then I am saying that f of x actually lambda times G of x. First thing. Okay. How to prove it? Note that G of x and f of x both are in C. G of x is also from C only, right? But it has extra property, monic and smallest degree. Okay. Now when two code words are there, code polynomials are there, the difference is also will be there. Or any scalar multiple is also there. Fx minus a into G of x also will be there. What is a? A is a leading coefficient of f, right? Then what do you know about degree of f of x minus a into G of x? It is strictly less than the G of x because f of x leading quotient and the G of x leading quotient is 1. I am multiplied with the leading quotient of f. So I am subtracting. So degree becomes less, at least 1, right? So then it has to be 0 polynomial because out of all the polynomials in C, G of x degree is the least. So now its degree is less than that. Then it has to be 0 only, 0 polynomial, right? Because of that. So in fact, lambda is exactly the leading quotient of f. Okay. The uniqueness of G also can be proved in a similar way. If 2 are there, again subtract. That's the way. Okay. Now I'm proving that if I take any code polynomial or code word and polynomials are same. Okay. So if I take code polynomial, then I want to show that it is divisible by G of x. So how do you prove it? So you know in division algorithm in FQ of x, so f is a field, f of x by division algorithm will hold. So p of x equal to g of x into q of x plus r of x, right? Now you know that by division algorithm r of x equal to 0 or degree of r of x is less than degree of g of x. If r of x is non-zero, then we are in trouble because degree of g of x is less than degree of r of x is less than degree of g of x. So r of x has to be 0. All right. Any questions? So after this only I defined here the monic polynomial of smallest degree is called generator polynomial for the code C. Okay. And one more thing. So the claim which I made, the generator polynomial of cyclic code divides x power n minus 1, right? And every divisor of x power n minus 1 is a generator polynomial for a cyclic code. So this is the beauty. Okay. So this result is telling that number of cyclic codes equal to the number of divisors of x power n minus 1. Okay. Earlier I just give us examples. Today we are proving it. But proofs are very simple. So let us assume that g of x is a generator polynomial for a cyclic code C. Okay. So again, what is my claim? I want to show that g of x divides x power n minus 1. Again, proof is very simple. Apply division algorithm for x power n minus 1 and g of x. Okay. So now cyclic code, so it is an ideal. So you know that the similar approach, right? So r of x power n minus 1 is now 0 in fq of x by quotienting with x power n minus 1, right? That is a 0 code word. So there are difference. So r of x is minus g of x into q of x. That is also now code word. So if it is non-zero, then I have a polynomial of degree less than g of x. That's a contradiction. So that is the reason. Nothing is there. Any questions? So conversely, if you take any divisor, then you take ideal generated by that. That's sufficient. That is automatically becomes a cyclic code, right? And it is easy. You can show that that is the generator also. Okay. Yeah. So we have these examples earlier, right? Now this is a interesting result, right? Now, if you have a generator polynomial, then how do you get the generator matrix from that, right? So you take g of x. So g of x, actually, you know that g of x core in the word sense, it is g0, g1 up to gn minus k, right? Remaining are zeros, right? X into g of x, it is a right shift. So you can easily see that column rows are obtained very beautifully from the first row itself. So just cyclic shift only, right? So now we can easily show that this g of x, x into g of x, these rows are linearly independent. I want to show. If it is not, then how do you prove it? So take, so a naught into g of x plus a1 into x g of x up to ak minus 1 x power n minus 1, it is equal to 0. You know how to show linearly independent, right? You take the scalar linear combination equal to 0. You want to show that all the scalars has to be 0, right? So that is what I'm doing. Nothing. Proofs are simple, straightforward. Is it okay, Karnika?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So what I want to show, g of x, x into g of x up to g of x into x power k minus 1, they are all linearly independent. I want to show, right? I took a naught into g of x, a1 into x into g of x, ak minus 1 into x into g of x power k minus 1, right? Now I can take g of x outside, which is equal to 0. But this product is, we are doing in modulo x power n minus 1, right? So, but this polynomial degree is k minus 1 and g of x degree is n minus k. So what is the product of the polynomial degree at most now?
N minus 1.
N minus 1. So now that is 0 modulo x power n minus 1. How a polynomial of degree less than n will divide a polynomial of degree less than n or n minus 1 or less is divisible by x power n minus 1 unless it is 0 polynomial, yes, right? So that is a simple proof, right? So it has to be 0 polynomial. Otherwise, how a polynomial of degree n minus 1 or less will be divisible by x power n minus 1, right? That is a simple thing. Okay, right? Yeah. What extra thing we need to do? Yeah, that much is okay. Now, okay, these vectors also spans code C. That is another next thing. So they are linearly independent to prove kiya hai. Now why they are spanning? You take S of x is in C, right? So this can be expressed as C of x into G of x. We proved that every code word actually divisible by G of x here. You remember? So every code word, so here, right? Every code word is a multiple of G of x. So that we proved. You remember that P of x, we proved R of x equal to 0 here, right? That way. So now this S of x is in C, then S of x is divisible by G of x. That means what? This S of x equal to some C of x into G of x, right? Yeah. Now degree of C of x should be less than or equal to k minus 1, right? So then you can multiply it and it will be like this, right? So these are the things now generating, right? So why C of x degree less than or equal to k minus 1? Because my code, each code word is actually, it is dimension is k, right? Dimension of the code is k. Yeah, hence, so this part is okay. So this is what I am claimed earlier, but only one thing with that I'll stop, because you want to understand that with that I'm maybe a little bit fast now. So, but sorry for that. Suppose g of x is generator polynomial for the code C. We know that g of x divides x power n minus 1. So x power n minus 1 is equal to g of x into h of x. G of x has degree n minus k. Then C has dimension k and H has dimension, H has degree k. Since h of x is divides x power n minus 1, it is a generator polynomial for some cyclic code again. See, h of x also dividing x power n minus 1. So it is generator polynomial for some cyclic code c dash, and whose dimension becomes n minus k, right? You hope you understand that. So earlier you look at this again. Yeah, here generator polynomial degree n minus k, the generator matrix is k cross n. So k times x power 0 to x power k minus 1. Okay, little in the beginning it is a little complicated. It takes time to understand. The degree of generator polynomial is n minus k, then the code dimension is k. So similarly here, h of x degree is k, and then cyclic code dimension is n minus k. But C perp also dimension is n minus k. And so it will be nice that this h of x itself is generator polynomial for C perp, but there is no, it is not true. So why it is happening, what happening? So that is this theorem. Small result actually. All are very simple. See, you know that, so to make it much more, I'll first tell this part. Suppose I give two polynomials, right? Okay, so for example, a of x is this, a0, a6. Can you somebody help me that how in the polynomial form it look like?
a0 plus a1x.
A6 x power n x power 6. Similarly, I am explaining for n equal to 7. In general, this proof is true. So, yeah. So, for example, if you multiply them, right? A of x into b of x, you know that when you multiply, so you multiply, how do you multiply? A0 is multiplied with B0. Like that you multiply, but you remember that I am doing modulo x power n minus 1 also, right? So A1x into B6 x power 6, what happens? Can somebody help me? That is sufficient. What is A1x into B6 x power 6?
A1 B6x.
So A1x into B6 x power 7. So I am doing modulo x power 7 minus 1. I am taking n equal to 7 for understanding purpose. So x power 7 minus 1, doing modulo x power 7 minus 1. So x power 7 equal to 1, right? So what is that? I want to say that A0 into B0 is constant. A1 into B7, B1, B6 is again constant. Okay, in this product. Again, it is a polynomial of degree at most 6 only when I'm doing modulo x power 7 minus 1. Okay. And these are the terms. So, okay. So now I'll go back and explain you what is the actual theorem about. If I take two words, okay, of length n minus 1, then a of x into b of x 0, product equal to 0. That means that a of x is orthogonal to the vector b n minus 1, b n minus 2 likhna hai. There is a mistake here. b n minus 2 up to b0. So, and every cyclic shift of this vector. Okay. What is the meaning is that this product equal to 0, a of x into b of x is 0 if and only if a0 b6 plus a1 b5 a6 b0 equal to 0, and again cyclic shift of that, like that. Okay. That comes from here. Okay. You multiply these two and the product equal to 0. That means that constant term equal to 0, x quotient is 0, like that x power 6 equal to 0. These are exactly these shifts. Okay. So that is the thing. So, okay. So this is the main theorem actually to understand. Very simple, but this is the main thing. So the product equal to 0 means that when you're doing a modulo x power n minus 1, that is same as that. This is same as that. This one, this a0, a1 up to an minus 1 is orthogonal to 6 vectors. This vector and it's their cyclic shifts. Okay. Yeah, that is the main purpose. Okay. So because that, so g of x into h of x equal to x power n minus 1, but doing modulo x power n minus 1 is 0. That means that g of x is so reciprocal to, the reciprocal things are these, right? hk minus 1. That is the beauty here. Okay. Hope you will understand and you can ask me in the next class because time is running up. So that's why generator polynomials look like this. It is exactly that proof is again given here, though I explained here. Actually, you are looking that this is called reciprocal polynomial. This polynomial is called reciprocal of the h of x. What is that? So you so look at here. I'll explain with. So okay, so look at here. H of x is this polynomial. Sorry, give me 1 minute only now. H of x this polynomial, right? Then what is x power k into what is h of x inverse first? Somebody help me. Only 2 questions. I'll stop. What is h of x inverse? Means x is replaced by 1 by x. Can somebody help me that? H of x is this.
h0 plus h1 upon x.
H1
so,
upon
sir,
x.
we can start from hk plus hk minus 1 x. Like if we are taking x power n minus 1 modulo, then we can have the constant term as hk and so on.
Right. That's what I'm explaining. First, I'm asked that what is 1 by x if I substitute,
Sir,
then h0 plus okay.
X raised to n minus 1. It will be the same, right?
Yeah. No, I am taking now polynomial of degree k. Right? Okay. So what I want to say that, see, I'm just asking one after another. H of 1 by x is that h0 plus h1 by x plus h2 by x square and so on, hk by x power k. Is it okay, Sriti?
Yes, sir.
Then you multiply by x power k, then what happens? I'll repeat. H of 1 by x is h0 plus h1 by x plus hk by x power k. If you multiply by x power k, then what happens?
When h0 comma dot hk, what we used to write, it would be changing to hk comma dot h0.
Right.
So right shift.
Right shift. Yeah. So not right shift. It is called reciprocal polynomial. Nothing shifting. It is not shifting. It is not right shift. Completely. This is called reciprocal polynomial. For a given polynomial, this is reciprocal polynomial.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is actually now. So what I want to say that the parity matrix is a little different. It is not as it is that h0 h1 like that. It is not going. It is going in reverse. So that is the why it is going like that. So this h of x into g of x equal to 0 and go to this theorem. So that will help you that. Yeah. So that is my main purpose I want to tell you. Okay. So remaining things are fine. So the entire summary is here. And I asked a few questions, beautiful questions here. So you do that. With that, cyclic codes will be clear to you. Right. So I started with first examples in the previous class. Okay. So how do you proceed? You first look at the summary, entire summary first. What is actually going on in the entire cyclic codes? Okay. Then look at examples, understand. Then prove that, prove the results. Proof of the theorems at the end so that you will not feel it becomes easy. Yeah. So I'll start with this. Substair first.